is the Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS show with Jon Impemba and James Grande.
What is going on, FA Nation? Jon Impemba with James Grande. Welcome to the Fantasy Alarm NBA DFS Playbook Preview Show. We got 4 games here on a Thursday. Be a quick show here for everybody today, but though it's just 4 games, some big names already ruled out here, James. No Luka Doncic for the Dallas Mavericks here in this matchup against the New York Knicks. No, I would assume Al Horford, who played the first leg of the back-to-back for the Boston Celtics. Celtics going into overtime on Wednesday now have to travel on the road to face the Milwaukee Bucks. Dame Lillard expected to play in this game, so have that guy back in the lineup for Milwaukee. Kristaps Porzingis is expected to play after missing the front leg of that back-to-back, but we'll see. We'll see if anybody else ends up sitting for Boston, given the back-to-back and overtime travel nature of that game here. Dante Exum is out for the Dallas Mavericks. Lively's questionable. We got to figure out whether or not DeAndre Ayton, I think he was doubtful. That was the last I saw.
Yeah, he's doubtful again.
Doubtful again to play for the Trailblazers. OKC also on a back-to-back here on this slate. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. We got the 10 p.m. game included because it's just 4 games. How you feeling about things, man? You're going to be on the playbook for the 4-game slate.
I feel good. It's an interesting slate. I thought there is 5 games. We have the 2 p.m. game in Paris. I forgot.
Yeah.
The Brooklyn
Cleveland, right?
Brooklyn, Cleveland, and Paris. Yeah. I was like, I thought there was 5 games on Thursday. There is. One of them is not in this country, in America. So that'll be interesting. Some afternoon basketball there, John. That's fun. Yeah, I mean, it's an interesting slate. Obviously, a ton of stars. 2 teams on second legs of back-to-backs. Injury news aplenty. Ready to dive into things here.
Yeah, 100%. Let's just get into it. Point guard position when there is no Luka Doncic, which they knew ahead of time.
Yep.
And yet Kyrie's only 9K.
Yep.
He went for 58 fantasy points again, 58 for 64, 51, 53 the last 4 games. Barely any movement on his price. At home against the Knicks. Now, the Knicks have been playing very good basketball since they made that trade for OG Anunoby. But Kyrie's still Kyrie. I mean, he could easily just do what Luka has done when he is by himself in these spots. So, $9,000 Kyrie Irving. You have SGA at 10-4 in the second leg of a back-to-back here against Portland. Devin Booker, Jalen Brunson, Dame Lillard at 85, if we want to just kind of round out the top 5 active point guards here.
Yeah, I mean, SGA sees no drop-off on second legs of back-to-backs. He plays big minutes. He's super good. Obviously, elite spot. We're just unsure of how competitive this game is going to be. 13.5 point spread here, John. 13.5. So, it's all about Portland being able to stay competitive if you really want to get to SGA. But we saw it last week on a back-to-back. OKC kind of scuffled against Atlanta. Now Atlanta has more firepower, I would say, than Portland, but SGA is fine. Kyrie's the guy that we want in this spot here at 9K with 50 back in 4 straight games. He's obviously going to draw the OG assignment. I think that's pretty set in stone that we're going to see OG Anunoby guarding Kyrie, but it really hasn't mattered because Kyrie went for 35 actual against Minnesota and then 33 actual against Memphis with Marcus Smart and Vince Williams on the other side. And those two are very good defensive players. So it really hasn't mattered. I'm okay getting to Devin Booker here. Obviously, a really, really down game against the Clippers, and he's been really bad in general in terms of fantasy production, but really pops when he's under 9K. Obviously, we're going to have to monitor the fact that he hasn't back-to-back games and no rebounds is something, I guess, to watch with a fully healthy team. Brunson just wipe away the Portland game for basically anybody. It doesn't matter because they won by 50 and all the starters other than like Julius Randle played no minutes. So Brunson's been incredibly safe. The assist numbers continue to really hold firm with this new look Knicks lineup. So Love Jalen Brunson on the flip side of the Kyrie matchup. Lillard, obviously 8,500 is a great price. He has not played well, with the exception of a San Antonio matchup. Still didn't make any threes in that game. He's dealing with a lot of personal issues. There's a lot of people who know what those personal issues are. That could obviously be impacting his everything, right? We don't know what people are going through but this is not Dame Lillard, right? Like, this has obviously been the top 10 player in the NBA year after year. I mean, he's shooting 35% from three. This is one of the best three ballers we've ever seen. And not just because he can shoot from 40, he's just that good. Maybe he has his head on straight after, missing last game and hopefully things get better for him in his personal life. But the price is what stands out the most. But right now it's really hard to want to get to Dame until he strings together a few good games, right? And in Boston at full strength, if Holiday and White play, this isn't exactly the get right spot.
It is not. Speaking of White, you have him at 77 and Holiday at 71. Between them, you have Anthony Simons at 74, Bradley Beal's at 7K. Obviously, Simons the other day, the blowout, right? 27 minutes. He only went 4 of 14. They lost by 30. That could very well happen here against the Thunder in OKC here. So certainly a lot of risk with these Portland plays.
Yeah, I mean, the Boston guys are really only interesting if we did get Jason Tatum sitting or Jaylen Brown sitting after how many minutes they played on the front end of a back-to-back. I'm just going to mention it out front. Drew Holiday revenge narrative. Okay, we can move on. Anthony Simons, dude, you see what it is, what it can be, and what it can be good and when it's bad, right? He has a 60-point ceiling and he has a 17-point floor because Portland's terrible. I don't know, like you said, I don't think it's going to be that competitive, but if Simons makes all the shots, then it can be. Bradley Beal at 7K, I guess, is interesting, but what do we make of Phoenix right now? Because they're just
I don't know. I mean, there's obviously we know what the talent can be with this team. It's not great that they go and get blown up by the Clippers. But we've had some good games of Bradley Beal. We've had some good games from Booker. Right. We've had some great games by Durant. It's even Nurkic has had some big games. So very difficult to figure out where to go. The Lakers, is that a matchup where they could be competitive? Probably, but where are they competitive?
Yeah,
right?
For sure. Yeah, and they're just thinking back to the Booker price, they're all priced probably appropriately, and there's no discounts on a team that's struggling and still trying to figure. This seems pretty similar to what the Clippers faced early on, right? Where the Clippers trying to figure out how to play with Harden. The Suns need to figure out how to play together because they have not played a lot of minutes.
Agreed. Under 7K, you now have Reeves there at 69, Giddey on the back-to-back at 64, D'Angelo Russell, Scoot Henderson at 6K, again, worried about the blowout in that one there. But on a smaller slate, I mean, do you just go to the Dallas guys and take a look there?
Yeah, Hardy probably starts, we assume, right? 3,700. We know I see it already coming, by the way. First ownership run, Jaden Hardy is the highest roster player this slate, right? I mean, that's just what it's going to be because he started the last time one of them didn't play. It was Luka, and Kyrie had a big game, and they blew Portland out in half a game, and yeah, so you just go to Jaden Hardy. I think you avoid everything else in that entire team.
I'm kind of with you there. Want to go shooting guard? Over at the shooting guard position, as we have discussed, get Jaylen Brown coming off of a monster game against Minnesota in overtime. Chris Middleton's up to $7,800 here, and then again, it's a smaller slate, so everybody we've discussed until we get down to Grayson Allen, Shaedon Sharpe, THJ range.
Jalen's fine if someone sits. Even if someone doesn't, I mean, he's coming off back to 3 straight monster scoring nights. And he actually had double-digit rebounds as well on Wednesday's slate. So if you want to get to Jalen, he does have the back-to-back bump, but he's also been incredible. Definitely the best 3-game stretch of his season. Middleton, this is the first time we've actually seen him priced appropriately, and he still went for 45 fantasy points last game. So there's still a ceiling. We saw the minutes slowly creep up to 34. I know it's very minuscule, but hey, man, like in that minute, what if Chris Middleton hits a three, gets a steal, gets a rebound? Now you're talking about a guy who just went from 35 fantasy points to 42. So I'm definitely fine with Chris Middleton. You mentioned it's pretty much all the same guys. We saw what can happen when Phoenix is fully healthy with Grayson Allen. I know there's a ceiling, but I'm
3 shots, even that feels like
an
an anomaly, though.
aberration. Yeah, for sure. I definitely don't think it helps Eric
True.
Gordon being back because Eric Gordon is like another guy just like that can do what Grayson Allen can
Got
do.
the minute still, but
40 got the minutes. I think I'm certain the minutes are gonna stay firm just with how good he's been. And even Frank Vogel said like he didn't expect him to be this good because he's
yeah.
shooting 47%. That's like
I mean,
insane. And I'm not saying he can't have a ceiling game. It's just he
the
is
guy
the
the Bucks
fifth option
replaced
on a
him with
night.
leads the NBA in 3-point percentage, and that's Malik Beasley shooting 48%. So
0.05% better than Grayson Allen. No, it is. No, it is. And he was really good in the 24 minutes he played last game, even in a game without Dame, because they just realized like we cannot keep him out there for extended time.
We
Like
should
there's
have
just
known
no
the
way
Utah
that he can be
revenge
out there
narrative
for.
was there, right? Just went out there firing.
That's true. That's true.
Shaden
Yeah.
Sharp, again, another victim of just the blowout. 22 minutes, 25 fantasy points. Like, he was good. If that game was competitive, he would have played 35 minutes, but it wasn't, so he didn't. Again, I don't know if they will. So, very difficult to trust these Portland Trailblazers here.
That was a very un-Chauncey-like game, right? Where he like Reith didn't get extended, Scoot didn't get extended. He like went deep into the bench. He didn't play Sharp at all. That was a little surprising, but yeah, I mean, if they can stay competitive, 5,400 for Shaden Sharp is just silly. That's look for what it's worth. OKC on a back-to-back. We talked about it last week. They've had a brutal schedule over the last couple weeks. They've played a lot of basketball. They haven't really had a blip. They had a little blip, but Washington kept it close. After 3 games in 4 nights, maybe Portland has a sliver of a chance of keeping this competitive.
Again, THJ is there, 5,300. Got to assume no Luka. He'll take a step forward, I would imagine, in some value.
Yeah, 5,300 is a good price. There's a big usage bump without. It's just like, Kyrie doing what Kyrie's doing. It obviously, but
someone else has to score.
I
right?
definitely don't like Hardy starting with Kyrie and then putting Hardaway on the floor because that's just so many like I need to shoot players. And you like finish that lineup with like Dwight Powell and Josh Green and you'll be fine, or Grant Williams and you'll be fine. But yeah, 5,300 is a price that we haven't seen in a while. He's been hovering around 6K for
small forward here. Jason Tatum coming off a ridiculous game. He had 26 points between the fourth quarter and overtime in their win over Minnesota, but it is the back-to-back against Milwaukee. He does have a lot of good games against Milwaukee on his ledger. Had a double-double against him in their first meeting this year. You got LeBron James. Jalen Williams has been ridiculous lately. Did he finish off the triple-double tonight? Did he get there?
I think he
was an assist shy.
Short. Rebound shy. He had 12 career high 12
so nearly triple double for Jalen Williams. He's been really good. OG had a good game, but like again, only 33 fantasy points while scoring 23 actual. So
he definitely lost. He definitely was snake bit by the blowout because like everyone else, they were just up 100. But yeah, I mean that's OG, right? It's like if it's not threes, if it's not like stuffing the stat sheet with steals and blocks and threes, then it's hard for him to have upside.
But like I don't know if there's a value small forward that's like a great option. There is Derek Jones, there's Josh Hart, Taurean Prince, DDV. I mean, with everybody back, like none of these guys are that appealing.
Largely agree. I think Derek Jones is because he's going to play big minutes with them so banged up and just in general. Like no Luka, Derek Lively. is
Mhm.
doubtful. We already know there's no Dante
Right.
Exum. So Exum was, pegged as the starting 3. Grant Williams is questionable. He only played 7 minutes in that Memphis game. So Derek Jones could just be in line for near 40 minutes. Torian Prince would be interesting, especially if
Right.
Cam Reddish sat. Reddish got that quickly elbow and didn't return to that game. They did come back with Max
Right.
Christie when Reddish went down. He played 18 minutes, but Hachimura is doubtful. Reddish is questionable. They've shortened their rotation too. Like we could see Max Christie extended here, or if they just play Torian Prince a little bit more. But I think both those guys are like fine as like
Sure.
lineup filler.
Power forward position. Giannis here is at 12K now against Boston. Boston unlikely to have Al Horford. Will have Kristaps Porzingis. 21, 13, and 5 against Boston. The first matchup definitely not paying off. 12K at 48 fantasy points there. Durant, Randall, Porzingis is 8,400. Like, what are our thoughts here?
I mean, I have no problem getting to Giannis with whatever gosh dang form this dude is on, like what planet
Okay.
he's on right now. Obviously, that Utah game wasn't amazing. Very weird to not see blocks or steals, and like he obviously didn't have like a ceiling, and wouldn't even hit value at this
And you
current
kind of
price.
called that
But
out in that game.
he's
Like you
a
were a little nervous without Lillard that could happen with him there.
yeah, and like it's kind of been something that defenses have done, and we've seen more doubling of Giannis when there's no Lillard because the spacing's off and they just don't have like as many options, like they've had in years past where, you talked about it. Grayson Allen isn't there spacing the floor or like just in general. And that's led to 11 assists
Mhm.
multiple times lately and a lot of assists, but like you need at 12K, you need that triple double and
Yeah.
35 points, right? For a ceiling. So it's definitely in the cards, especially with Boston on the second leg of like a pretty, I would say like almost as hard a back to back
Yeah.
as possible. Home Minnesota and then having to travel to Milwaukee after playing overtime to a fully healthy Milwaukee team. Like that's as hard as it's going to get. So I could see Giannis catching them on some
Sure.
tired legs.
When it comes to the pricing for me, it's just that like LeBron obviously would have 50 plus fantasy point upside. AD we know can go 60 plus fantasy
Yep.
points. Yeah, Julius Randle, if this he's could get in a competitive game, I mean, he's been going for 50 plus fantasy points. He's $8,800. I mean, that's like very cheap for him there. KD is really the only one going for the Suns. He's going 50, 45, 43. I mean, you know, those reasons are some of the reasons why I think like you could go a little fair and balanced here and like play Kyrie and one of our aforementioned players there.
That is, I think, the primary reason you're going to see Giannis
Yeah.
be low owned. I don't think Giannis is going to come in because how many builds are going to start with
And there's
Kyrie,
not a lot of
right,
value
at
yet.
9K?
So
No, not a lot of value. There's two teams obviously on back to backs, and we'll see from there. But yeah, I think Giannis comes in loaned. Obviously, getting a loan, Giannis is never a bad thing. Um, but would you rather start with like Kyrie Randall in that game, 231 and a half, 3.5 point spread, like super obviously competitive, or would you rather spend 12K on Giannis and basically not play Kyrie or just fit some
right.
random value into your lineup? It's a good point. And to your point about the Lakers are the same way. Like AD has been incredible. LeBron, despite a slow start in that last game against the Raptors,
Yeah.
had 50. Like he was not good in that first half, but 21-point double double like gets you there. And so there's definitely pivots off Giannis. But when you're looking at the slate, you look at, all right, well, we're going through. All right, well, Giannis probably has the
Sure.
highest ceiling. I would say like at least the most consistent high ceiling, right? Like we have seen Giannis. That was the first time he hadn't gone for 60 fantasy points in like 9 games. So, I agree. I want the next tier, mostly Randall or Davis or LeBron, but there's definitely a case to get to Giannis if you want to be a little contrarian.
And then after that, again, it kind of just like falls off. You can play Jalen Williams here if you want. Porzingis again 84, Jeremy Grant 68, OG has a dual positional eligibility, Bobby Poe. You talked about Jones already. Like, is there anybody down here that you would give a look towards?
Nothing that I really love. I mean, Jeremy Grant continues to score the ball well, but again, he just lacks peripheral stats. There is a revenge narrative here, of course, for Jeremy Grant, former Oklahoma City Thunder great. He's fine, but 1,600 in a game that might blow out in 3 quarters. I would say maybe the next guy I get to is like Josh Hart, and even Josh Hart hasn't been great the last few games. So it's just not a real appealing position here, John.
Center spot. Again, a lot of guys we discussed. Chet, we haven't. 7,900. Nurkic, $6,800. Hartenstein, 6,500. Despite taking 1 shot attempt, had 34 fantasy points against Portland there. Good spot for Hartenstein. Yep. Probably the top center. Probably, I would say. Do you like per dollar?
Per dollar.
Obviously not counting the guys you can plug in at center, power forward, but like,
I would say him or Chet. Chet had another really good game. This is a great spot. We just don't know how competitive Portland's going to be.
But I mean, Hartenstein, 28 minutes in that blow up, 14 rebounds again, 20, 19, 14, 3 to the last 4. And you were on it. The blocks and steals, man. Another 3 steals, 1 block in that game.
Dude. He's just...
And they're not touching his price, really.
No, not touching his price.
So I plugged him in my lineup the other day, cashed. I'm probably just going to do the same thing here because, again, like, what else would you play?
Christian Wood.
Why would you play Christian Wood?
Look what Christian Wood's doing. He's firmly in the rotation. They've been using this like double big with him and Davis, and it's mainly because Hachimura, I think, is out. But you also have to consider if Christian Wood's going to play this well, they're probably going to take a longer look at him getting extended run because we've now seen double-digit scoring in 3 of 4. The one game he didn't. He was 1 rebound shy of a double-double. He's in the blocks category. He's kind of back where, like, this was like Christian Wood in Houston, right? And Detroit, where you're like, whoa, that guy's, like, pretty good at fantasy, on a fantasy point per minute. And if they're going to use him in this role, I don't think it hurts that Cam Reddish is questionable, too. Like, just everyone getting pushed up because the Lakers are running a short... This whole Darvin Ham thing has made Darvin Ham go very short with his rotations. And I just think if we're going to continue to see this version of Christian Wood, the Lakers are going to continue to play him. Now, obviously the range of outcomes 16 to 24
I think
minutes,
on a short slate, he makes a lot of sense. I was just seeing like what your opinion was on they were asking why you'd play him. I agree. I mean, listen, the minutes, 3 to the last 5, 24 or more is great. So on a smaller slate where there's limited value, I just hate that he's center only, but
that sucks.
It kind of is the way they're playing it here. So, all right, let's build a lineup then. We just plugging in Kyrie here.
Yeah, let's plug
Kyrie's in 58.50 a play. You probably need value. What do we have? Do we have any obvious value here outside of, I guess, the Wood? Derek Jones, 49.
Yeah, Derek Jones, Christian Wood would probably be, and Jaden Hardy.
Yeah, we assume Hardy's playing here, right? So, how many Mavericks? Just Jones the third.
Yeah, we could play 3. I mean, it's obviously a sketchy. Knicks are 5-0 with the best net rating in the NBA by of all time in someone's first 5 games on a team. That's that is what it is, but. 5,900. Ooh, good
Sure.
money to work with. So
6K guard or forward.
Jalen Williams, 72. I just don't know if that game. Shaden Sharp, 54.
Yeah, I mean, I like Sharp. Do you think he
Feel
like
good about
hangs in
Shaden?
here? Like, does that game? They give him the minutes. I guess we don't know. I feel pretty good in Derek White probably playing. It's really not.
Yes, Derek White does not sit. He sat for the birth of
Yeah,
his
that was
kid,
about
right?
it.
That was it. So if you want to play Derek White, he's going to play.
Hartenstein, 59. Let's throw.
Oh, true. Hartenstein, yeah. For sure.
71.
You just switch.
Or
I mean,
what?
Hartenstein. I liked the Hartenstein.
Yeah.
Just switch Hartenstein and Wood. And then we're playing for Dallas.
Hartenstein, 49. Prince. Well, you had Wood. Might as well just keep it there.
No, I would rather. I think.
All right. Well, I guess this is what we got for now, at least. I mean, obviously, AD. We could go down from AD, I guess. Go Randall.
Go Randall, so we don't have to play
74. So close.
You could do 74 and play Sharp at guard and play Jalen Williams.
There you go. Irving, Hardy, Jones, Randall, Hartenstein, Sharp, Jalen Williams, Christian Wood, $200 left over. Example lineup for everybody for the 4-game slate. Grande will be on your playbook for today. If you have any questions, get us in Discord. Find us on Twitter. We'll be back live 5 o'clock Eastern time to get you all ready for this slate. Till then, everybody, we'll see you later.